Hey everybody, this is Devin, the Devin Galladay, the romantic traveler. I'm losing my voice. I hope everyone is doing wonderful and finding love. As you all know, every week at 12, I normally go live. This week, I have something that I have to do that I can't do at noon. So today we are starting at 9 a.m. So you're probably seeing this as a pre-recording. But next week we should be back on our normal schedule, 12. So I apologize for any confusion about that. But the good news is we're doing something kind of exciting today. We are going to be kind of doing a series on, well, as we always do, love, but I'm going to be focusing on certain elements that harm, and then ultimately we will work on elements that fix and encourage love. And as most of you know, I tend to be really encouraging, and there's kind of like two Devins going on. One is teacher Devin, which means I want to transmit information that's going to be really useful so you can move forward, and no matter what happens, I am on your team and we will together whatever it is that your goal is. In most of the cases, they have to do with love and relationships. And then there is Coach Devin. Coach Devin's kind of a different thing, and we haven't done too much of it, only because, to be quite frank with you, I've always thought that when we don't have sort of like a live one-on-one connection, when we're doing this thing through video and podcasts and that sort of thing, that I always thought maybe that it might be best to just sort of be the nice guy and let's just be, and that's it. But the truth of the matter is, if you want results, coaching is the way to go. And I would say the difference between the teaching element and the coaching element has to do with taking responsibility and taking action to change the place that you're in. So this week, we are talking about the 5 love and relationship killers. This is going to be a series. So this first class is going to be a very short overview of the 5 relationship and love killers, and then we're going to move into solutions, how to overcome them, and ultimately the 5 things that will bring love together. For the record, this list of the 5 things that I've got in front of me are it's really just a partial list, but they're sort of endemic things. And to be quite honest with you, if you do not have the kind of love in your life that you want, you probably have one of these qualities that is a huge detriment to having love. So like, I mean, if you're holding on to this and you're single, you're gonna make any future relationship really, really hard. So I'm going to be sitting here probably with a more furrowed brow than normal, but the bottom line is you need to get past these kinds of things because they're blocks in your love life and you don't need it. And even if you find Ms. Right or Mr. Right, you're probably going to be starting further back than you need to by holding on some of these qualities. So where do we start? We start with fantasy. This means that you have somewhere in your heart some sort of imaginary fairy tale-like notion of what the other person's supposed to be like, what they're supposed to look like, how they're supposed to handle problems, and overall some sort of an overly romantic idea of what a relationship is supposed to be. For the record, we're taught this through Disney cartoons. We're taught this in some sort of a fairy tale ideal that is planted in the back of our heads, that the person that we're with is supposed to just bring us flowers and give us foot massages and feed us bonbons and provide us sex no matter what happens, and that ultimately the other person that you're with really isn't human. You have to stop it. In much detail on that and how to get rid of it, but for now, understand that the fantasies that you have don't work. And perhaps the most important thing about this particular element that I'm going to share with you today is, you can be nice to yourself and you can want good things in your life, but ultimately the fantasy ideal is never, ever, ever going to serve you. History. History is, to be quite honest with you, it's when you make a justification that your history and your baggage justify not liking men or not liking women, or all women are this or all men are that. And it's without question, the truth of the matter is, again, if you're presented with the greatest, most perfect match of all time, and you are looking at them through the lens of your history, you're going to make your relationship that much harder to maintain. Next, mind reading. This is the element where you have some sort of an assumption of somebody else's guilt, or that you think you know what they're thinking when you don't ask. And you don't know, and you may get advice from somebody else before you will actually go to the person that you claim to love, to again justify your own fears and assumptions, and forget it. We're going to go into this one in much greater detail, because this one is a real doozy. And here's the best one. What starts as mind reading becomes blaming. Blaming is, the truth of the matter is, most people think they don't have a part. In other words, I have conversations every day about some sort of a breakup that went awry, and it's all the other person's fault. Understand without a doubt, until you get a handle on your own stuff and how you in the problems within a relationship, because I guarantee you the failure of any relationship is not 100% the other person's problem. And if you're not working on your stuff, 100% you're going to be blaming the next person in your relationship. So good stuff here. And finally, punishing. Punishing is sort of like blaming, but it's when we get to be passive aggressive. It's when we have justified anger. It's when we have some sort of a misguided notion that if the other person hasn't done perfectly in the relationship, we get to withhold love, we get to withhold affection, we get to justify it by saying, well, I'm uncomfortable, so I'm gonna defend myself, and I'm gonna back away from love. I guarantee you, you will, especially if you have like 2 or 3 of these things going on, start getting real with yourself. And, be prepared. I guarantee you, confronting your demons or confronting your past or nonsense and how you participate in relationships will lead to success and will lead to change. And a friend of mine, Pat, says frequently that a slight shift in perception leads to great change in the future. So keep that in mind and understand that the negative things that we're focusing on ultimately participate in the outcome of our long-term relationships and our hopes in what we want to accomplish in terms of love and relationships. Anyway, I think that's all I've got this week. We've had a short one. We're going to get back to some long-term, some in-depth understanding of fantasy and how to get more out of it. You can always find me at devingallaudet.com right there. Feel free to ask questions. We'll get to them on one of our weekly shows. And until then, I hope you have a spectacular week, and thanks for hanging with us. See ya.